I watched As Told by Ginger, and here is what I thought. So this was definitely a show I watched when I was younger. I remember really liking the show, so I wanted to give it a watch and see what I could remember and what I kind of didn't remember, because I don't really 100% remember everything that happened in the show, maybe because it's so long ago, but I remember certain bits and pieces. So if you don't know anything about As Told by Ginger, it is a show that focuses on, as you guessed, Ginger. She is currently in middle school and she's navigating it with her two best friends, and she also has an annoying little brother and raised by her single mother. So yeah, that's basically As Told by Ginger. And again, I had watched this show a little bit when I was younger, but I don't know if I watched every single episode, and I really don't remember too much about the show either, just kind of certain parts of the show that stick out in my brain. So that's why I decided to give it a watch again. So I'm going to be getting to spoiler territory, if you really consider this spoilers, since it's a very old cartoon. But anyway, let's get into the show. Okay, so what do I remember about As Told by Ginger? And like I said before, I didn't really remember too much from the show. I remember liking it and a few of the scenes, but that was about it. There wasn't too much I remembered. All I know is that when I was a kid, when it came on, I wanted to see it and I liked it. So in this show, we do have the typical like mean girls, and they are Courtney and Miranda. And that I did remember their characters. So even though they are mean in some scenes, the character Courtney is kind of like fascinated by Ginger. And a lot of the show, Courtney like wanted to be friends with her. Many of the times she was just like really interested like in her lifestyle, because Ginger wasn't really rich and she was in the working class. Courtney found that very interesting. She was kind of like fascinated by that aspect of life. She's like, oh, you don't live in a mansion? Oh, you don't have butlers? She's like, it's fascinating. And I don't know why Ginger in particular was the one that fascinated her the most, because most of her classmates were in the same class as Ginger, but it is what it is. But her friend, best friend Miranda, a lot of the times tried to sabotage the relationship between Ginger and Courtney, mostly out of jealousy. And Miranda just really couldn't see or even get why Courtney wanted to hang out with her. He's like, you have all these things, we're rich, why are you interested, and why do you want to be with Ginger? Don't get me wrong, there were definitely some episodes where Courtney was a bit of the mean girl to Ginger and didn't treat her the best, but definitely I just thought her and Miranda were both very mean. But there were a lot of episodes where Courtney was just kind of wanted to be Ginger's friend, or like get to know her better and fascinated in her lifestyle. I also really liked how Ginger didn't really care about the popularity. Her friends definitely cared more than her. So when Ginger was offered to come to like a sleepover or hang out with Courtney, she always wanted to bring her friends, but her friends weren't really invited. And her friends were like, no, you go. Like, this is a good chance for us to be, like, you know, you're going to be in the popular crowd. Like, her friends were, like, encouraging her to hang out with Courtney because, like, Courtney's popular. So, of course, Ginger should want to be popular. At least that's what her friends were saying. But I really liked how Ginger didn't really care that much. She just wanted to be around, like, people she liked to hang around. Like, she didn't mind hanging out with Courtney too much, but she also wanted to bring her friends along with her, which I thought was great in the show. And one of the main things I remembered about this show was Darren and Ginger. And the only thing I like have a very vivid memory of is Ginger kissing Darren, who they were like best friends. Distinct memory is like, I don't know where we were, but I was like with a bunch of friends. We might have been having a sleepover, hanging out, I don't know. But I remember like a promo for the episode came on TV, and it was Darren and Ginger kissing. And then like Nickelodeon was like, find out what happens like with this, blah, blah, blah. And when we saw Darren and Ginger kiss, we literally all screamed. We were like, oh my goodness, Darren and Ginger kiss. What is going on? Like, we were all like young kids and we were freaking out. We're like, we have to see the next episode to see what happens. Will they stay together? Things like that. It was, I don't know why that memory of the show is like the one that sticks to my mind the most. Like, such a vivid memory, but maybe because there was such a good vibe around it. Like, I was just with my friends, we were all hanging out, like probably just sleepover or something, watching TV, and then that comes, and it was just cool to like all see the promo at the same time, freaking out at the same time, like, oh my goodness, we gotta watch it. So maybe that's why it sticks in my brain so much. So yeah, so besides the rest of the show, that distinct promo and the kiss episode are the things I remember the most about the TV show. What I didn't remember at all was that they actually went to high school. I kind of thought the show just took place in middle school the entire time, and they probably move up to high school, maybe the last episode, but I did not remember them being in high school at all. So I'm not sure if I even saw those episodes, but it was kind of cool. Like when they went to high school, it was like a complete makeover of all the characters. Like I feel like the animation got a little bit better. All their styles changed going to high school, which kind of makes sense. High school's a big deal, so I feel like a lot of students and kids try to try something new, reinvent themselves in high school if they can. So it did make sense, and they were all kind of like joining different clubs and doing different things, and I kind of liked it. It was definitely different from the rest of the vibe of the show, but I did like in high school they were kind of like more mature. Another thing I did not remember about the show was what really happened between Darren and Ginger. Like I said, I just had the distinct memory they kissed and whatever. So when I'm a little kid until now, I thought they lived happily ever after and they just kissed and were together forever. That is not the case. Let me tell you that what happened between them was literally my least favorite thing about the show. So once they get in high school, they're still like together, dating, whatever. And when Darren gets in high school, he gets a little bit more better looking, as they all do. But he becomes a football player and is kind of a jock. And then with that football player, he comes popularity. And with popularity, you get, more attention from girls. So there's this cheerleader he kind of likes and he's talking to. Like, they're kind of talking and flirting. And I was like, what is going on here? Because I'm like, you're still with Ginger, right? Like, we all know he's still with Ginger. So what is this boy doing? And the thing with the girl, I guess they don't, Ginger's not really in that crowd. And so this girl doesn't know about Ginger, doesn't know that Darren has a girlfriend at all. Which I was like, are you serious, Darren? I was upset. Cheerleader's like, I really like him, we seem to get along. I definitely want to hang out and go out with him. I think she might have wanted to ask him or something like that. And I was upset. I was like, are you serious, Darren? Like, the fact that you're flirting with another girl and she doesn't know, which means you guys have talked and you have not brought up or made it known that you're taking or you have a girlfriend, which is not good. Red flags going everywhere. Eventually, I believe Ginger's friend Dottie sees, she wants to be a cheerleader and she sees them flirting and tells Darren, you need to tell Ginger, I'm not lying to her, you need to tell her. Eventually, Darren breaks up with Ginger, let her know what's going on, and Ginger's obviously very upset about it. I was so sad for her because, it's her and Darren were such good friends, and I think that's why it hurts so bad. Because we see Darren with them hanging out with the three girls, and they're all kind of not the popular crowd. But then they get to high school and things kind of change. But he was always their friend, always good to them, always there for them. And then him and Ginger kind of get together, and he sees something else he likes better. And the way he kind of went about it is what I don't like. And it just made it worse knowing that they were best friends and they had all this history. And he goes and does that. It was very upsetting. And another part I didn't love was the ending of the show. So after the breakup of Darren and Ginger, they're kind of don't talk to each other for a while. Eventually they kind of make their way to being cordial and becoming friends because they were best friends before and they kind of want to get back to that place and they don't want to lose each other as friends. But at the end of the wedding, Ginger's mother gets married and they both are invited to the wedding. Darren's invited to the wedding, Ginger's in the wedding, and they're go to the wedding with different dates. They're kind of moved on, but still kind of friends. Then there was a time jump, and in that time jump, they're all adults. And I believe Ginger wrote a book or something, and she's reading it. And then I see that Darren and Ginger are there together, and they have a kid. A kid. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? I'm sorry, but I was not for it. To me, what he did was still too fresh. And I was like, no, I'm not ready for him to have a happy ending, and especially not to have with Ginger. I would have preferred like a short little montage of them trying to find their way back to each other, like 10-30 seconds of them like going through the rest of high school, then like college, maybe they like reconnect after college, and then eventually they get together and have a kid, because like it was a high school relationship, you know what I mean, when you're very young. So I can see how like things can change, you can grow and know that what you did was very wrong, yada yada yada. But I'm sorry, the way that the show ended, I was not a fan. I was just not a fan of how Ginger and Darren ended up together, because I was like, it's still fresh, I'm not healed from what he did to her. So that was just not my favorite part. And again, like this show's geared towards kids, so maybe kids don't need that, they just need Ginger and Darren to be together happily ever after. But for me, I needed like little montage in between the wedding and them having a baby. That's all I needed, like a little montage of them like getting back together, him apologizing again, begging on his knees for her, and then all is good. After finally watching the entire show, I would give it 3 stars. I think it was overall a good kids show, and I liked a lot of the episodes. Like I said, I liked how Ginger didn't really necessarily need to be in the popular crowd and didn't really want to all too much. I think that was a great part of the show. I do think it was great for when I was younger, and I think it's still a great show for kids to watch. So yeah, if you are looking for a new kids show, definitely give this one a watch, check it out, share it with the young ones in your life. I think it is a good watch. I know I didn't like the ending and some things that happened in the show, but I think overall it's just a generally a good one to still keep on your radar. So if you have seen As Told by Ginger, what did you like about it? And what are your favorite memories while watching this show? Did you have anything that was as like very distinct as mine did when that promo came out? Or maybe something little, but you know, something that when you think about it, you connect it with like a particular episode of the show? Let me know. Definitely leave it in the comments below if you have a very fond memory of something that happened around this time or when you're little that connects back to this show. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to check out any more TV content. I'll link my website below. Feel free to check out any other videos as well. I've done not tons, but I've done some other reviews as well. I will also leave my socials for you below as well. It's the same on all platforms, ATS_MGO. Feel free to follow me anywhere. And I think that's it. Well, you guys have a good rest of your day, week, month, and hopefully a good rest of your year. And until next time, bye.